Now pleased to be joined by the general chairman and also by the host of the Memorial Tournament presented by Nationwide. That is Jack Nicklaus II and Jack Nicklaus himself. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning, Gary. Good morning.
Jack, let me start with you before we talk about this week. The passing of Roberto DiVincenzo. I know that you had a nice relationship with this gentleman. Just a thought about his life and his career.
Well, I thought Roberto was just a super guy. I remember the first time I saw Roberto I was 17 years old, and I just missed the cut at Inverness, and I was at the 15th hole's a par 4, and I crawled up the back of the bank behind tee and looked between his legs as he teed it up and hit a 3-wood off the ground. And I always saw how strong he was and how what a good-looking player he was. And then we played a lot together, and he became a good friend. And what a nice gentleman. He was just he represented his country in the game of golf beautifully.
Very well said. Jackie, let me ask you, as the general chairman, everybody who goes there every year talks about how special a week it is. Is there a specific message that you give to the tournament staff and to all the volunteers about what is most important so that all the fans and the players have the type of special experience that they do on an annual basis?
Not really. You know, my job's so easy. It's this is such a well-oiled machine. From the day that Dad got here back in our first event, 1976, Dad and Mom had traveled the tour for so long and knew what really made a tournament tick. And they brought all that knowledge here. And Dan Sullivan and all of our, our chairs, they do such a wonderful job. And my job actually is quite easy.
Mr. Nicklaus, you were in calling some golf yesterday. We love it when you go on the booth. Jason Dufner made a birdie putt at number 11 from over there right of the hole. It went in with a lot of speed. You acted like you didn't like all that speed. Would you mind just giving us a refresher course on what your approach is to speed on the putting green?
Well, I didn't say I objected to Jason's speed. I said he just hit it in with a lot of speed, which meant that he had a lot of confidence that he was going to make the putt. Because if he'd have missed the putt there, it'd run right off the green. But sometimes you get into that kind of a zone and you putt the ball that way. Jason was that way yesterday, and he played beautifully. There was a lot of good golf out here yesterday. There really wasn't much wind, and the course is in perfect condition, and they just they lit it up, and that's fine. But, there were some high scores, too, yesterday. I was very surprised at some of the high scores. But it's the kind of golf course that, even though it's here, and if you don't play well, you're going to get bitten. And that's what happened to a couple of guys.
Jackie, over the years, you've seen your dad make a putt or two in big situations. Are you surprised when you look at the landscape of professional golf now that really no one copies his approach or his style with putting? We don't see anybody in the crouch. Are you surprised by that?
I don't know why that is. I've tried my dad's putting style without any success, but it seems simple. He was always very crouched over. Dad always explained to me how he kind of held on to it with his left hand as a kind of a guide, and he used his right forearm as a piston for his speed. And when I bring up speed, I have to giggle and think about a lesson that, really on the tails of the question about Jason nailing that putt at 11 yesterday. My dad gave my son Jack 3 a lesson at Augusta about a month ago or so, and he said putting is, well, he said 90% speed. He probably said 99% speed. Speed is so important, and if you look at Dad's career and some of the great putters over time, I think of Tom Watson as well. Rarely did they leave a putt short, but rarely did they leave themselves a second putt as well. So, whatever style I think these guys are using, pay attention to the speed, because I think that's the most important thing.
Jack, a lot of people, and I'm certainly among them, think you are the most valuable voice in the game. The state of the game, specifically the tour, with all the money, do you think these young men who are awfully good, who I know you like a lot of them, they represent the game exceptionally well, can keep an edge for 20-plus years like you did at such a high level?
Well, they are blessed today. They're playing for a lot of money. And one tournament can make a year for most of these guys. And, I don't know whether that's good or whether it's bad, but right now
I think tournament golf is in fantastic shape. We've got more good players than we've ever had, certainly more than when I played, and we had a lot of good players when I played. And, you know, it's not an easy life out here. You're traveling place to place, and it's tough. Yeah, you get treated pretty well out here, but it's a tough life, and the career is probably not as long as somebody in business. Certainly longer than most sports, but it's not that long, and I think it's great that what they're doing. You know, when we played, we won golf tournaments to be able to make a name, to be able to go make a living. Out here today, these guys can make a living on the golf course, and I think that's fantastic. More power to them.
Mr. Nicklaus, Muirfield was one of your first designs. Over the years, how has your design process evolved?
Oh, Charlie, I don't know. I think you learn, and you would certainly hope that today you're better than you were 40 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever it might be. And I think I find that the game changes. I change. I see how I played and how I changed with it. I certainly am far more aware of what the average golfer does today than I was when I first started playing or first started designing golf courses. Of course, when I first started designing golf courses, most of them I did were actually people came to me to design courses for tournaments, and today that's not the case. But you learn to sort of adjust and adapt to what's going on and try to go with the flow and try to make the game more fun, but also put a challenge in it for the good player.
All right, before we're done here, Jackie, you've been in lockstep with your dad personally and professionally your entire life. So, rapid fire here. What's his favorite movie?
I don't know what your favorite movie is.
Well, we got to talk about golf. It's Caddyshack, obviously.
What's your favorite? I love Caddyshack. It's a classic.
All right. What's his number one pet peeve?
Saying I when she should say me and vice versa, and English-wise.
Okay, and then
he's
finally,
always correcting me.
I think I know the answer to this one. What is his guilty pleasure?
Ice cream.
I knew it.
Absolutely.
I knew the answer to that one. Well, listen, gentlemen, it's good to see both of you. Another special week at that very special place. Enjoy it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for having us,
Charlie. Thanks for having us.